In A Link to the Past, Link's uncle actually gives Link his sword and shield. I'm not talking about in the cutscene, but in the actual code itself, and I can prove it to you. During normal play, Link inherits the Fighter Shield, a small blue shield that is arguably the prototype for the Hylian shield that it predates, and the Fighter Sword, your basic level 1 starter sword. Without any further meddling, this is all the player would ever know. He would simply acquire the sword and shield and go on with the game. Using cheat codes, in this case a Pro Action Replay, I can overwrite values once per frame. In this instance, I'm planning on giving Link the Augmented Master Sword, which is a level 3 sword, and the Mirror Shield, the level 3 shield. Let's have a quick look at the values I'm using. The par code to alter Link's current sword consists of 2 pairs of 4-digit hexadecimal numbers, as seen here. The last 2 digits identify which item we are trying to load, and the first 6 digits essentially tell the Pro Action Replay device where the 2-digit code identifying the item we want is to be inserted into the game's active code. Up on the screen you can see which values point to which sword. In this case 01 is the value for the level 1 fighter sword, and we're going to change this to 03. We can also do the same to this address, changing the value again to 03 for the shield slot, giving us the level 3 shield, in this case the Mirror Shield. Loading back into the ROM, there appears to be no visual change to Link at all. By entering the pause menu, we can see that the items have been changed and are loaded into Link's inventory. What this means is that the graphic data for these items is actually stored somewhere else in memory, and we need to find a way to call it up. Luckily, we can enter loading zones and let the game engine make the changes for us so that we do not have to go and hunt down which code values are where in code. This is most simply done by entering the overworld if you're in a dungeon level, which is essentially the underworld, or vice versa. The real question is, if I start the game with these codes active, will Link's uncle actually have these items, and can Link inherit them in the sewer? Now let's go back to the beginning of the game in style, harnessing the power of the Song of Time. Speeding through the events, Link's uncle has the red sword and shield. Now let's check our inventory to confirm, and yes, the level 3 sword is listed in the inventory, but because we have not triggered the events with our uncle inheriting the sword yet, we simply can't use it at this time. Let's fast travel and enter the sewer level to confirm that uncle still actually has these hacked items. And he does. At this point, I'm going to use a walkthrough walls code to skip the cutscene trigger where we normally inherit these items and instead load the next room. I would expect that the sword and shield will not be unloaded because the game believes them to be part of our current inventory. And there it is. Going back a few seconds, we can see that all of the items are in fact loaded before all other entities in this room, including our uncle who is dying on the ground, but also somehow spry enough to teach us a spinning sword technique without moving. It must be a telepathy thing. Talking to our uncle should give us these cheated items. And here we are. You're now way too powerful for Hyrule Castle. Glitch out. Oh, great, he just Jedi fades when I leave the room? That's friggin' convenient.